Hello everybody. Let me tell you a story. So yesterday on Halloween I did a 2-hour stream of Stasis. Was having continued issues with my streaming and recording software. So continuing problem where if I tab out of the game to check on things, tab back in, the game crashes. So yesterday I did what I had done before when I got everything kind of set up, looked like it was working okay, got into the game, and went ahead and played. Found out after a 2-hour marathon session for my Halloween game stream that it didn't record any of the video, just the menu. All the audio and everything was there. So this is the second time I'll be recording something just for YouTube, I guess. So this is going to be kind of continuing from where I had left off before and going through to where I got at the end of the last stream, hopefully recording to make things even more aggravating. After I was messing around with stuff and checking the stream, I was able to tab in and out of the game without a problem, and it wouldn't crash. Today, in testing so far, just to do this recording, tabbing in and out does cause the game to crash. So right now I'm tabbed out, looking at my software, making sure it's streaming, and then we're going to go back in, and it'll probably crash. But yeah, that's kind of the way it's been going for me lately. So it could be a little bit of a start here. Let's see. Yeah, so it crashed. So hopefully, when I go back in the game, it will be recording. Though at this point I have no way to check, which is incredibly frustrating. So we're going to continue from where I was with my previous stream, and we're going to try to catch up. Unfortunately, it's not going to be my first impressions and all that kind of stuff. I did just do all this yesterday. I just want to quickly go through this as fast as possible. It took me about 2 hours, but I know the solution to solve the puzzle, so it should be a little bit faster. Now that I'm in the game, I'm also going to tab out just to make sure that my recording software is working correctly. Okay, it is, but then when I tab back, it's going to crash the game. Yeah. Okay. So theoretically, everything should be working from this point on and be fine. And if not, I'm going to, I don't know, do a 5-minute screaming video or something. Anyway, so this is where I was before and was kind of stuck, and I had to look up a hint for this. The problem was I have this Vaporized Queen pheromone, and if I use it on these insects, which will kill me if I go near them, it just causes them to sort of disappear for a second. It does play an animation. So because it played an animation, I was assuming that must be part of the solution, and I just needed to do something else at the same time. That's wrong. So because there's the animation, it kind of throws me off quite a bit, and I was kind of assuming I must have to do something with timing or use another item or something like that. No, I have to do something totally different with the Queen pheromone. So use it with the fan.
I hate bugs.
So now we can proceed. So we're going to turn on all the oxygen tanks, which seems incredibly dangerous.
1. Oxygen levels increasing to dangerous levels.
Like he said. So we've got a corpse, Chris Rogers, helmsman, security level 1. He collapsed. So there's something there. No, I don't think so. And even more oxygen. Like it's not already super dangerous.
Oxygen levels pose the fire hazard. CSEC has been notified.
It's beautiful.
The oxygen garden's my favourite part of any ship. Green, full, natural.
Yeah, really beautiful. The first thing I notice is the corpse up here and the bloody handprints on the wall. Frank Fleury, bartender, security level 0. Got stuck up here. So we've got bridge and observation platform. Bridge spans a pair of observation platforms. There's something here, but it's not saying anything. Got another corpse, body engulfed in vines. The vines surround this body so completely that you're surprised when you notice it still draws breath. Unconscious, the soul must have been resting here for a while, unless the vines grew incredibly quickly. Yeah. Not creepy at all. Yeah. Oh, and another body there, too. So that gave us a flare. Got another corpse. Marcos Valdez, the third. Training Academy personnel, security level 1. Water collection pool. Every so often the overflow from this collection pool spills onto the human form below, anointing its face with water. Nothing. Yeah, I'm going to kind of try to go through fairly quickly, but I'll still kind of read through any PDAs and that kind of stuff and interesting things we come across. So plants here. Verdant plant life covers nearly every surface of the room. Continue this way. We've got a hanging vine. You almost expect to see some kind of simian beast shimmying along the vine. This huge vine here. The vine ripples like the sinews of a giant's arm. If the vine continues to grow, the metallic support slat won't last much longer. I don't think we can get to Frank here. Sometimes some of this icon just is sort of looking at, but occasionally it sort of triggers something, or my character doing something when you click on things, even if it's not an action. We've got another Donald Frere, Protocol Officer, security level 1 up here. This is the creepy room. Welcome to the creepy room. Multiple bodies here. Grayson Wendell, Cook, security level 0. Ingo Godow, Nurse, General Science Division, security level 1. This, to me, looks like just a pool full of corpses, but it's just a stagnant water collection pool. Algae has left scum over the surface of the water of this stagnant pool. I'm not even sure where I'm standing. Okay, there we are. Another thick vine, thick muscular vine, seems to pulse with life. If it grows any more, the metal supports beneath it will collapse. And then here we have the fun thing, Eleanor Way. She's encrusted with fungus and vines, a human nerve center for the twisting growths around her. Appallingly, she is still alive. And then this thing kind of growing out of her. The thick thick growth twists upward like a horned blemish bursting forth from skin. Its surface is firm but porous, different from the vines and trees surrounding it. And kind of growing out of her, sort of. And there's a PDA there. Go for the PDA first.
Oh, God.
Yeah. She is moving. Yeah, overgrown vines. Like the millions of silky steel wires in a suspension cable, the vines have braided themselves so densely that the corridor is completely blocked. Go get that PDA. Eleanor Way. She's the one kind of with all the stuff growing out of her. January 19th. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and great in loving kindness. The Lord is good to all. I simply wish his kindness had extended to Chelsea. The galley chef told me that a few of the other crew members are uncomfortable with having an ARG patient on staff. I asked if her work was any way below standard, at which point he grew uncomfortable and admitted exactly as I thought. No, she was a superb worker, but his team were uncomfortable with her anyway. Being a geneticist and a Christian may appear contradictory to most, but that is their burden, not mine. I believe in grace and mercy. It wasn't Chelsea's fault she was born an ARG baby. James, my ex-husband, blamed me. James wanted her terminated, and when I refused, he packed up and left. That suits me. I'd rather be without an unloving husband and father than without my beautiful child. And she is. She is beautiful. Gift from God. And for a ship full of the most supposedly forward-thinking people in the galaxy, their aversion to her condition repulses me. March 20th. Tolerance and patience are virtues greatly praised by the Lord, but aboard the Grim Lake I find my stores of both these virtues sorely tested. I discovered through one of my subordinates that a new shipment had arrived on board a few days ago, destined for Project Seed. My disapproval of the dangers of Seed are no secret. Considering the size of the shipment and the clear attempts to cut me out of the loop regarding the delivery, I suspect some of my colleagues are trying to mask the precise nature of what it is that has arrived. If it is as I suspect, there will be no, and I mean no, lengths I will not go to in order to depose Dr. Milan. King Corporation is a company for the promotion of the sciences, not for the sinister schemes and unprincipled ambitions of individuals. I have moral issues with Kane and their weapons research. It tests my faith, but Kane's medical breakthroughs have changed the world, and my world too. It's because of Kane-created research that Chelsea is even alive. This is why I do what I do. I work in genetics to find cures for my dearest Chelsea and others like her, not for money. It's my job to put things right for her. May 21st. I had lunch with Dr. Gray this afternoon. He's an odious little man and utterly misanthropic, but if you need somebody to talk to about Project Seed, then there are a few people who give up information more easily. His ego easily outweighs his sense of confidentiality. Project leaders and project members are not allowed to discuss details of individual products, but he can't resist himself. Nevertheless, he revealed disturbing details. I'm aware of our sample origins. We need human genetic materials in order to develop cures for human beings. It's a hard truth. But there's paperwork, permission forms, and contracts that create the supply. This shipment has none of those things. So that's kind of where I came in. I woke up in product storage, and we had originally, with my family, been on just a ship traveling between planets, and we're going into cryogenic sleep, and then woke up here in this horrible kind of traveling mad doctor's laboratory. September 25th, their children. Oh God, in all your great mercy, how could you let Milan, that unholy monster, do this? It's taken months, but finally I found a young cargo worker named Danica Boxer. She was referred to me by Dr. Tenchu, such a sweet girl. It seems the cargo is a combination of adults and children, all of whom were acquired through illegal channels for use in genetic research. I did not agree to this. I'll leave this place and take Chelsea with me before I spend one more minute working for a company that endorses the use of children in research. There are not enough words to describe the soulless creatures that did this. Revenge? I don't believe in revenge. Beloved, never avenge yourself, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay," says the Lord. November 26th. Where is she? The creatures are attacking in full force. The screams are all over the radio. They're dying. They're all dying. I hear them scuttle through the vents, see the blood they spill, and spray over the walls. Chelsea, Chelsea, oh God, please bring her to me. I'm trapped in hydroponics. Please let my little girl find me. December 9th, voice note. I can see Chelsea inches from me, lifeless. I contemplated taking my own life as she died just before my eyes. When those creatures attacked, the crew sealed off parts of the ship, and I was left trapped in hydroponics. That fungus got to me, and now it's inside, profaning my body. Its nerves wrapped around my cerebral cortex. I can feel it move. I try to move my arms, but it won't let me. It's making me watch the fungus consume my baby girl. I must watch and pray for the end to come, so then it does not depend on the man who wills or the man who runs, but on God and his mercy. Emails. From Gray to Way, regarding meal. Dr. Way, your comments are most flattering. I suspect, however, that a promotion isn't forthcoming because of the lack of attention paid to our section. Ignorance is frustrating. Our lack of understanding of what takes place at the top of this food chain is of great irritation to me. You do seem to be pushing relentlessly for information about this cargo, though, and I'm somewhat uncomfortable discussing it any further. I fear I may already have said too much. For the sake of your career, my dear, I'd suggest discontinuing pursuit. You're a fine geneticist and are clearly one of the most talented people on the ship. Don't let it go to waste, Sebastian. And this is from Dr. Tenchu to me, or this lady, Way. A matter of spirit. Dr. Way, I know that you're a spiritual woman and at times receive a great deal of criticism for this, but I feel I can speak to nobody else. I'm well known for my positivity and cheerfulness, and I believe I've earned my nickname, Dr. Gray's Smile. I'm haunted by what I'm hearing on the ship and wonder if perhaps it's merely induced by my own fears. Oh, to hell with it. I'll ask you straight out. Do you believe in ghosts? You may think that I'm being ridiculous or delusional, but I can hear things, children crying, deep in the bowels of the ship. I work many late nights, and I'm convinced that I can hear crying through the vents. Where are these sounds coming from? I did hear rumors that before the Grim Lake was refitted, a group of children were brought on board and their quarters were on this deck. There was a malfunction with the heating unit, and, well, they all died. I don't want to seem like I'm wasting your time, but I enjoyed our talk yesterday and your open-mindedness about matters of the soul. Kind regards, Kiza.
Get you out. I can cut you free.
pretty messed up. So, speaking of messed up, remember we've got way too much oxygen in here.
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you end this. But you need to help me first. I don't need you to leave. I need you to crack this flare. The oxygen will ignite. Then you will die.
Yeah, run. I don't think there's any way you could outrun any of this.
Extreme external temperatures detected. Plug suit has regulated body temperature to benchmark level.
The fire systems just went haywire over here, John. What did you do?
I cleared the vines.
With a flamethrower?
Something like that.
Fire in Oxygen Gardens 1, 3, 5, 6, 9. Fire in Oxygen Gardens 2, 7, 8. Fire suppression system activated. Warning. Fire suppression system compromised. Warning.
Shit! Oxygen production has been compromised. Are the biomes still intact?
No.
Oh, God, please don't say burn them out.
Just the one on this level.
It's caused a chain reaction, John. They're all going up. We have a time limit now. Hours at most.
You can get my daughter right now.
Yeah, and at this point the music plays super loud for a while. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear that much over, but for me it's super loud, like way louder than the music should be. It just lasts a little while though and turns off. And the weird thing about this too is the fire alarm, the sounds exactly like it does in my building, so the first time I listened to this I kind of freaked out a little bit. I'm like, is there a fire going? Yeah, not a happy looking place. Flames from the milking room. Shark tongues of orange and yellow dart out of the burning laboratory, consuming the organic matter hungrily, but leaving no mark on the curved composite walls. Here, flames from the hydroponics laboratory. The smell of compost fills the hot air. The vegetation is being reduced to noxious mulch by the creeping flames. Years of work destroyed in flames. Fire climbs the wall in a small fraction of the time it must have taken the vines to mount it. Took me a little while to figure out. Yeah, just take the elevator. Like, I can't go anywhere, I guess. Well, not a while, like a couple seconds or something. Longer than it should have.
You little shit! What have you done?
Listen to me.
Fire cleanses. Mr. Marachek, I'm gonna make sure you burn for what you and your friends have done to me. To my home!
Please. I have nothing to do with this.
I did just
You won't get much further.
set things on fire.
Goodbye.
Where is she, Tia? Where is Rebecca?
She's in the containment area at the other end of Seed.
Okay, so my daughter is supposed to be here. So here we have a power pad. High voltage wireless power pad provides a portable energy source for engineers and mechanics. Got a toolbox. Smooth surface of the metal toolbox is punctuated by shiny metal pop rivets.
Looks like this place is being expanded.
Seed was always expanding. That place scares me.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's interesting walking on this, getting the shock. There's no information about the blood in the elevator. Work light. Floodlight illuminates the work area efficiently, giving off much needed heat. And here we have this area seems to be undergoing, or to have been undergoing, a renovation. Here we have a closed power cell housing. Lithium-ion fuel cell provides high-density energy storage and remote wireless charging. So I'll just check this out really quick and show. Also got hanging wires. Dangling wires resemble nooses. Yeah, so there's nothing I can interact with. We've got kind of a weird symbol here, electrical symbol. Nothing I can click on, nothing I can move. If I actually click, it'll sort of move me around the screen like I'm not even looking at that. So there's a specific thing I need to do with that. And this threw me off. So I'll kind of show this robot here with some guns on it.
Toxicity is at an elevated level.
And if I'm in that hallway or by that door, I get shot.
What do you see?
What kind of a monster would do this? These women, these poor women. This is torture. This is
Science.
Science! I did it for science! Yeah, full Frankenstein. Portal windows, room with a view. Fluids. Smell of almonds wafts from the viscous stream of fluid. Got another power cell here. Pregnant woman. Seated in the chair is a woman in her mid-30s, head shaved, limbs atrophied. Tumescent in pregnancy. She's connected to a machine that feeds and sedates her. Here she is trying to communicate, but her words are little more than slurred vowels. Her throat is dry, and she is clearly extremely weak. You remember seeing Renaissance-era sculptures of nuns in Holy Communion, their eyes rolled back, bodies contorted in ecstatic agony. There's a hint of that expression across this unconscious woman's face. A portable gurney. Disconnecting these poor women from the machines and wheeling them away on this gurney would be an easy choice if it weren't for the fact that such an act would surely kill them. I'm not sure they want to be alive. A wheeled stretcher to transport the sick and injured easily, but to where? Nowhere good. Nutrient tubes. Tubes convey the nutrient mixture from the machines connecting to the women over to the brood against the wall. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. Mist. Fine mist sprays down, anointing the bodies of the women below. So we do have a PDA, or a defibrillator. Defibrillator used in the case of birth complications. Got the computer terminal. Terminal appears to be unlocked, ready for use. Bloated fetus. The thing inside the incubator is anathema to nature, and the poor creature should not exist, and what life it shows is reluctant and painful. Machinery. Although it's only a wall of gauges, they cluster and protrude like the offspring birthed on a Suriname toad's back. I have no idea what a Suriname toad is.
A defibrillator. And it looks like it's fully charged.
Oh, I'll take that. We've also got the hybrid fetuses. An organic pulsating fluid sac holds the fetus. An external placenta. There is something noticeably peculiar about this artificial placenta. On closer inspection, there are tiny, ragged apertures across its surface, almost as if it's been eaten from within. There is a calmness about the suspended womb, but the pungent smell of amniotic fluid makes prolonged observation unbearable. The sack of organic matter sways peacefully in its slumber, punctuated by a pulsating movement from within. The fluid sac rocks gently to and fro, containing neither a human nor animal, but a medical marvel nonetheless. I wouldn't say medical marvel. The awful engorged placenta hangs like a ripened fruit. And the horror of this enlarged fetus sac is matched only by the horror within its fleshy walls. Birthing Laboratory. Project Seed, revised version 6. Update by G. Milan, Kane Corporation. All rights reserved for the eyes of the Kane Board of Directors only. Seed is an attempt to create the ultimate super soldier by, in simple terms, activating junk strands of human DNA. Over the years, the human genome has shed or made dormant certain strands of its own DNA sequence for various evolutionary reasons. Professor Salam Garand observed that certain dormant parts of these genes were not so much junk as they were potential, that is, genetic information contained and completely sublimated by a dominant gene. Professor Garand engineered an early life form based on this original theory by introducing these identified genetic strands in the early stages of embryo formation. The initial concept was intriguing, but his ultimate result was a group of uncontrollable animalistic creatures. Version 6 of this proposal is to update these same dormant genes into the human makeup by use of genetic splicing, thereby introducing desirable physical and mental characteristics over a generation to produce fast-learning, hard-to-kill, and utterly ruthless soldiers. Observation Report 1. Her vital signs are steady. Certain hormonal levels are extremely high, but I'm countering this with judicious administration of depressants in each case. Survival chances very high. She is young, healthy, and there are no signs of any infection or complications capable of disrupting the birth. Recommendations: keep under observation. Prepare for Phase 1 treatment. This is by Dr. C. Williams. Report 2 by C. Bachman. The subject, despite her promising early progress, appears to be failing. Supposition is that she cannot withstand the foreign genetic structure that is being fused into her body. Typical signs of rejection are being displayed. Recommendations: observe for an additional 24 hours. If there are no signs of improvement, then termination and disposal of the patient is recommended. Observation Report 3 by Bachman. The subject is progressing well. As well as being aesthetically attractive, she has all the other genetic traits required. Initial concerns about her suitability, voiced by Dr. Milan, chiefly due to the number of her sexual partners, has been proven unfounded. She will be a perfect carrier. The hybrid DNA is fusing to my satisfaction. Apart from a small amount of pain, her body appears to be coping with the adjustments. I have prescribed her a steady dose of anesthetic to keep her subdued and comfortable. Hybrid Subject number 302 by G. Milan. Since delivery, hybrid subject 302 has been kept inside an incubator. Due to its respiratory distress, assisted breathing is required. Cardiac arrest has occurred, and the use of automated external defibrillators has been required to revive the child. I deduce that the conditions and sickness are due to the late molecular bonding between hybrid and host DNA in the mother. A weak nervous system is also highly likely in this case. But the subject's regenerative abilities can be stimulated with steroids. Conclusion: the child is weak but will survive. The mother is suitable for continued breeding. Yeah, pretty goddamn horrible. I clicked here. Are you walking all the way around?
These women must have families and lives.
You can't do anything for them now. Soon this ship will run out of oxygen. They won't be in pain for much longer.
A second in this place is more torture than anyone should bear.
Yep. So initially I was looking at, should I put them out of their misery? So I picked up this high temperature slug gun, I've got a defibrillator, I've got a pistol, which would be beating them to death, I guess, with it. So I tried different things just in case. You never know. Yeah, nothing.
I'm here to help. I'm gonna help you. Just close your eyes.
I was so focused on kind of the story and what's going on that I didn't even notice before picking up the item, which is a bandage. So it took me a little while to realize I even had that in my inventory.
Just breathe in and out. Soon you wake up from this.
Or not. Yeah, pretty messed up here. So here I'm in the hallway, I'm fairly safe. This robot, whenever I come out, it moves back, deploys gun turrets, and then it'll move forward. It took me a little while to realize also that this is on a different level from this. I thought this was connected here, not that this was a lower walkway. Yeah, so he's looking that way with the guns. so I can kind of look around. So because I was worried about being shot, because the first thing I did when I came out here and got killed immediately, I didn't notice for a long time this sink here. I kind of got stuck for a bit trying to figure out what to do before noticing this. Stainless steel sink stands out after the successive levels of hell you've traversed. It's equipped with a variety of cleaning agents that are presumably safe for skin. So really the only places we can safely go were these two, so I was kind of running back and forth, trying to figure out what I needed to do before realizing I could do something with the sink. And here's another super happy room. Machinery, this must be where diagnostics for experiments are reviewed. Got a PDA. Human host. This human appears to be a host for the genetic hybrid growing out of it. Birth was clearly messy and painful. Pulsating mass of flesh and bone, a hideous agglomeration of flesh and bone, limbs jut haphazardly from its mass. It sports a human head that gurgles out of sync with the pulsing of its other parts. Recent blood discharge. Recent blood discharge hints that this life form isn't viable in the long term. Some creepy cribs here. Conjoined twin hybrids. Two bodies conjoined at the head, share one brain. It doesn't seem that the brain is up to the task of coordinating movement between the two bodies. Another power cell here. Computer terminal. Console's dormant, awaiting input from the staff who will never return to work in this slaughterhouse. Scanning machinery. Scanner pulsing with phosphorus light awaits its next patient. Scanning bays glow with an eager light. Here we have overgrown hybrid. This appalling distended creature appears to be a hybrid, although of what is unknown. It is not completely human, that much is absolutely certain. Bunch of warnings here. Here we have a large infant skeleton. This is the skeleton of what must have been a very large infant. Human skeleton, standard looking human skeleton. Some liquid nitrogen canister, readout screens. Preserved conjoined twins. The corpse of a creature hangs preserved. It may have been a twin. Two heads are fused together and a pair of spines meet. Each spine wraps around the other like a gnarled mountain range. We have some terminals. We have a conjoined mass. One of the failed experiments, a lump of organs held together by wrinkled skin. Bones poke through the flesh in spots. Splayed open human body. Do medical schools ever feature bodies that so grossly exhibit their internal organs? Eviscerated corpse. In the aftermath of this body's evisceration, you can't tell whether its legs were removed or whether it ever had any. PDA. PDAs in here are kind of messed up, as you might imagine. Clifford Bachman. This one is quite messed up. For whatever reason, the first time I read through it, it sort of kept slipping into like a southern accent. I don't know why. January 16th. They said I'd never make it to 60. Ha, 85, you fuckers. Old and still cooking with gas. 3 bastard kids and I outlived them all. Okay, so I was young when I had them. Those girls never even knew I was the father, of course. I had to switch the DNA sample so they didn't know the little shits were mine. I'm too old now for all that. You can never completely lose your eye for the ladies. Yeah, real nice guy. February 28th. I might have false teeth, Dr. Milan, but I'm no moron. For the good of humanity, I'm a sociopath, an alleged rapist of women, but your little speech to the crew was less sincere than anything I could say with a straight face. At least you know how to turn a blind eye whenever I have to get rid of troublesome subjects, right, Milan? The new gas for the chambers is working splendidly, an improved kill rate of 60% on the old formula. I watch those poor fuckers writhe and die. I have a viewing window now, just so you can make sure it's done. If I were a moral man, I'd call it perverse. It's lucky for Project Seed I couldn't give a shit. I thrive when I don't have to answer to anyone with a conscience. March 17th. This will not do, not at all. I need more subjects. The rejection ratio of the DNA splicing is stratospheric, so not only do I need more bodies, but I need better ones. They bring me imports and strays, but the best results are achieved with crew members. You cannot prey too often on those, of course, no matter the need. My chosen ones are always those who wouldn't be missed. The furnaces are inadequate for my disposal requirements. I'm told they're so hot they could destroy dark matter. They seem slow to respond when burning flesh, though, and the smell's hardly pleasant either. It reminds me of that injured dog that I found as a boy growing up in Missouri. He looked at me with a pleading look, the kind a sick patient gives the doctor they trust absolutely. Naturally, I stomped on the mongrel's head. It was a mercy. There are too many in society who have a similarly damaged disposition. It's a kindness to stuff out their worthless lives. August 12th. I must get more pathway. That little prick DeSantos is usually more than forthcoming with its ingredients, but he says his own suppliers are having problems. I know you, DeSantos. I know you're not a real doctor. I know the kind. I have 5 PhDs. I can tell when men have been hired for their instincts rather than their knowledge. Meanwhile, the cutting and splicing continues. Oh, and Charlotte, we all know about your little experiment, you stupid bitch. First, she kills her partner by accidentally exposing him to a lethal virus, and then she goes gaga for him. It's the sort of beautiful incompetence that slays me. I spent years perfecting the art of the kill, making a murder a pure mishap, and she went and did it all completely by accident. Perfect nonsense. October 10th. I held the subject down today and used my surgical hammer to cave in his windpipe. Then I gouged out his eyes and tried to rip his jaw from its socket. My goodness, what an outburst. I'm becoming careless. I need more pathway. Dr. Milan is starting to worry that my tendencies cannot be controlled. He need not worry, I'm still focused on seed. Seed is still just that, a seed, but this chrysalis will soon break open and blossom. The successful bred Homo novi wait in their containment cells while their unsuccessful brethren reduced to a viral mulch that's already breached the containment seals of the ship grow. It's a genetic makeup that might be a little more than trash, but it is astoundingly tenacious. I have to respect that which kills with such efficiency. November 12th. I woke up in the emergency room today. Somebody found me on the stairs. I can't remember much. What I do know is both of my fucking legs are up in casts. I better get comfortable because Dr. Graham says I'll be in here for at least a month. December 23rd. We die as the Novi cut us down, but I'm not ready to be replaced by a new species. Our creations are impressive, but I don't share Milan's fanaticism for what is happening here. I must try to make sure one of the lifeboats is available for me. A shame there was not another for that delectable young thing. What was her name? Callister? I would have liked to have her around when this ship was going to hell. She's dead, however. How unfortunate. That comment made me wonder if I'm actually seeing the correct information when Taya talks to me, like it's a fake image and maybe voice modulator. We'll see. Or she's just going to betray me at the end. We'll see. January 3rd. I may be old, but I'll tear anyone who tries to stop me from leaving apart at the limbs. I've survived police investigations, court cases, vengeful spouses, and idealistic lab hands. I will gut any shitbag trying to prevent my escape, and that includes you, Milan. I will jab out your eyeballs and eat them before I submit to you. Yeah, he's a real nice guy. This is Dr. Marvin DeSantos, March through February. Most of the comments I see are only through like December 24th, 25th, something like that. Man, that bitch from shipping won't get off my back. You fuck a girl real good and she just comes crawling back. If she doesn't get out of my hair, I'll have her moved off ship. Dr. Milan is a prick, but he looks after me like that. I gotta say, being on Project Seed is awesome, man. Okay, so we gotta do some pretty noxious shit, but in exchange I get a lot of protection and an honorary title. Dr. DeSantos. I like it. Dr. Milan knows about my contacts and private cargo that arrives on board, and I know he hates it, but there ain't nobody else prepared to work under Dr. Bachman. The guy's one twisted fuck, and also one of my best customers. I can import, sure, but my own private lab is what manufactures Bachman's pathway shit. Funny, I never realized how dependent these smartasses of science are on drugs. Personally, I never touch this stuff. You gotta have your wits about you, man, especially around here. May 15th. Wow, Dr. Williams, Charlotte, I never would have figured that uptight woman was a slut, but holy hell, she just gave me the ride of my fucking life. Who'd have thought it? Slinky lace under that lab coat of hers, and for a woman in her mid-40s, a body that makes you want to get on your knees and howl at the moon. Against the table, pressed up against the viewport, windows, on top, underneath, like a freaking rattlesnake. Of course she's Looney Tunes, probably thinks I'm her dead husband or something. Like I care as long as she keeps coming to me to fulfill her needs. Crazy but smart. She has no idea how much I know about her little project. I saw the details. People just think I'm a smack-talking smartass, but I've been training on the Grim Lake since I was 16. I studied chemistry and genetics, aced all of it too. She thinks I'm too stupid to understand. September 9th. Thinking I could have gotten myself in too deep here. The drug thing was fine, but this whole industrial espionage thing is kind of freaky. I don't think Dr. Milan knows. I know Lincoln watches me with an eagle eye, but he can't know for sure. If he did, he'd eject my ass from the ship with the rest of the failed hybrids, but goddamn the money is good. I earned my year's salary by sending some info to Black Star Industries. My contact gave me more money than I could conceive for leaking one report. One, I met the guy while I was on leave. He was a smug dickhead who somehow knew what I did, and then he flashed the cash. I got no loyalties to the company, and I know how Dr. Milan treats loyal staff. That guy can turn on a dime when it suits him. I've heard of weird shit going on down in the decks below, and Seed had me feeling it'll soon be time to get the hell out of Dodge pronto. 1 or 2 more reports might just be what I need. November 20th. Nobody knows about my little acts of espionage, but who'd care? The ship was falling apart. Some of those fucked up things that Bachman and Milan made are up on the prowl. I stashed away my cash as soon as I heard things were going wrong, but money ain't gonna make a spit's worth of difference if we all get killed. Milan's taking all this way too calmly. Actually, I'd say he's enjoying all this. He came into the lab this morning. He still makes us all report to the lab, and was grinning the whole damn time, his eyes all red like he was coming down from a high. The guy does not need drugs for a high. His general fucked upness is what he rides. And here's me thinking Bachman was a crazy one. February 1st. It's just us, oh god. Not even Bachman's around now. Charlotte was dragged away to the labs a few days ago. We're sealed off from the other decks. I reckon it's only a matter of time before Milan decides to do something about me too. I've been living on the ship for years. I know about hidden passages that even Milan doesn't know about. I'll get over to the communications array and let off a signal. Hopefully they'll get to us before Dr. Milan finds out.
How can we allow this?
This is the purpose of the Grim Lake. It's not on Earth. People can't see it, so they don't care.
But if they knew...
So what?
Yeah, that "so what" is kind of oddly out of character, sort of. She's supposed to be someone who's just working in hydroponics, but it makes me wonder. So, Mutagen Laboratory, Hybrid Reject 604. Report by C. Williams. During the autopsy of Hybrid 604, there were signs of renal failure. It appears the kidneys were unable to process the amino acids required for the breakdown of nutrients. Damage to the liver, stomach, and intestines show the same degenerative patterns. Reason: it is possible that the report of the mother giving birth 3 months prior was an error. Comment: further reports regarding the failure of mutagenic compounds will be finalized later. Hybrid Reject C, report by Dr. C. Bachman. Subject died during birth. It can only be surmised that death was due to a failing in the host, as all reports and tests leading up to the birth showed no signs of fetal defect. Upon further investigation of the woman's medical history, it was noted that she experienced complications of giving birth to a child previously. This host would not have been used had this been highlighted. In light of her medical history, I now assume this was the cause of the fetal distress and death of the subject. Note: host is being kept alive and has undergone 1 transfusion. Recommendation: revoke host life support order and dispose of body with Hybrid Reject C. And we have the Slug Gun Operator's Manual, which you can't take or anything. Hybrid Reject 811, report by Dr. G. Milan. A highly unusual form of rejection such as has not been observed before manifested in this hybrid. It is entirely possible that the mutagenic compounds used to synthesize hybrid DNA was faulty in this particular instance. Usually with any rejection there is a sign of initial bonding and then a breakdown, but in this case there was absolutely no bonding attempted whatsoever. Given the thoroughness with which we create the DNA, I suspect that the centrifuge machine for this particular batch was faulty. Repair and maintenance check on the machine is ordered immediately. Recommendation: destroy what remains and also destroy the fetus. So here we have a case of liquid nitrogen. Canister of liquid nitrogen feeds the surrounding specimen containers. It's hard to read that. Read out screens. So now I've got a full inventory. So for a while I was trying to figure out combination of items to do something. I was kind of thinking I only had this room, the other room, and kind of the entrance area with the elevator. It took me a while to figure out the sink was there. So I was trying to combine items and see what I could do to get into these power cells, but that is not what I need to do.
If they were more open,
Open to who? The people? Governments?
other corporations,
What cost?
a bit of our humanity, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think lots of corporations doing this kind of experiments are a great idea either. So what I figured out pretty quickly was put... Ah! I thought the guns were facing the other direction. Ah, there we go. To wait till looking the other way. Hey, bandage! Okay, put me back a little bit. Just grab the liquid nitrogen.
We allow this.
This is the purpose of Cooking. It's not on Earth. People can't see it, so they don't care.
But if they knew...
So what?
So I don't think it has anything to do. It's like it's sort of saved before I looked at this stuff. I don't think it matters. Nice Windows startup noise there. Old Windows startup noise. I don't recall anything happening clicking on the corpses. I'm just doing it just to see.
If they were more open, this wouldn't happen.
Open to who? The people?
It's playing out
Governments?
again.
Other corporations.
What cost?
A bit of our humanity, I suppose.
More than a bit.
Can you hear me? Do you know where you are?
Yeah, thankfully he can't turn his gun sideways. Okay, so what I figured out pretty quickly once I realized it was actually a sink here. Let's plug up the sink. So now we have the dirty bandage claws up the steel drain of the sink. Like an overflow. We've got spill the water. Liquid from the overflowing sink has splashed onto the floor, pooling on the polished floor. So I was trying to think of shooting it or freezing the water. Electrocuting it is the answer. We have Black Void, shapeless maw of the unlit void. Deactivate a sentry robot. It's motionless as wisps of smokes twirl from the burning CPU. I can't talk.
Easy does it. God, just need it to out. Got it.
Yeah. Sentry robot sits motionless as a wisp of smoke twirls. As wisps of smoke twirl from the burning CPU would make more sense to me. So yeah, we got a twisted metal piece, which then I tried to use on some different things to open the battery containment, which didn't work. It took me a little while to realize this is underneath, until I realized the robot was going underneath there, and we've got a little platform here. Thought I might have to do something to deactivate this to go down through this, but that's not the case. Got another sink here. Not even a handprint marks the surface of this sparkling clean sink.
Warning. The oxygen atmosphere generating system is no longer functioning. Product failure is imminent.
It might be the type with a built-in cleaning drone. Power pad here. So I'll do what I did last time. which I thought, hey, maybe I can use the gun. I'm surprised that didn't kill me, actually, doing that like ricochet back. So how do we open the door? We freeze it. So we've got extreme cold with liquid nitrogen. And at first I thought you just pour it on the door, but instead you set it there, and then this seems extremely dangerous to me. So we've got liquid nitrogen and then a high temperature slug gun, which equals something bad. So yeah, honestly sure that didn't kill, or surprised it didn't kill me when I did it the first time. More creepy rooms. So I'm here. So what do we have? Moisture streaks. Moisture that has oversaturated this laboratory is pouring down the walls. Plastic sheeting. Protective plastic sheeting spans many of the operating bays, not for modesty purposes, but to limit the splatter range. You have a strapped-down hybrid. Frighteningly thin creature, courtesy of Kane Corporation. Machinery. Some machinery's been shut off and tucked out of the way. Strapped-down hybrid. It's moving, but seems unaware of its surroundings, or it could simply have accepted its fate. The machine attached to the drip is on and configurable, although it is far from ready to use. Withered hybrid. Both bodies barely show sign of life. Tiny hybrid is tiny, clinging on to life by only the finest thread. It is not a pleasant sight to watch something so small on the fine line between life and death. Emaciated, starving organism. Its body is wasted away to little more than sinew. We have bone-mending glue there, we'll pick up. Healthy organism. This creature strains at its bindings. It seems healthy, though judging by the fury in its eyes, it's far from pleased. Yeah, I wouldn't be either. Conjoined hybrid, fused at the spine. It appears immobile, but its heads frequently scan the room, which is more creepy to me than them being dead, by far. Fluid drainage. Twin valve fluid drainage system is a smart piece of design, keeping the two fluids separate. Same here, the room design wisely included two fluid drains. So there should be another one here. Got a terminal. The hybrid here has fallen from the operating table only to crawl around in aimless peregrination. No doubt delirious. Earth reports. Subject 82509, Lana. Subject host, Tara McCormick, First Lieutenant, Marine Liaison. Subject observation, rambunctious. Subject appears to have inherited her mother's powerful physical build and latent aggression. Lana has the makings of an excellent alpha female candidate. Recommendations, move Lana to a group cell, as isolation appears to promote irritability. 82517, Daryl. Subject host, Willow Brody, nurse, medical deck. Subject observations, quiet but intelligent. Attempted to pick the lock on his cell yesterday, but failed to escape. Excellent problem-solving skills, and while not especially aggressive, has a strong build. A thinker, clearly. Subject 82522, Frederick. Subject host, Mary Maxwell, non-crew member, caterer from Phobos. Subject observation. Subject shows little of his mother's solid frame, but is a superb hunter. Stalks and learns tactics by observing the others. Appears to be developing a strong tactical mind. 82599, May. Subject host, Ellen Marichek, space tourist. So I think that's my wife, but I'm not 100% sure if it's my wife or my daughter. Some of the comments that I came across later made me think it was my daughter, but I think that was my wife. Subject observations, one to watch, cunning, extraordinarily fast and dangerous. Appears to prefer isolation as attempted pairings result in fatalities. Takes an alpha role, easily dominates the other novae. A definite candidate for Lana's mate. Dr. Charlotte Williams, January through December. January 18th. Oh, Francis, I still lie awake at night thinking of you. You haunt my dreams, my nightmares, and my fantasies. We found love, dear, even when we worked in Kane's Sydney lab, creating viable strains that could turn a human inside out. We loved and made love. Ours was a match made in heaven. We worked on only the most exciting viruses and pathogens. Our work together was a Mozart requiem, a piece of perfection. My work now is a pale imitation of what it once was. And Francis. How long ago was it now? It must be 10 years, but it feels like only yesterday. You were too sick to transfer to the Grim Lake when I did. You died just as I took up my post. But don't fret, my angel. I've begun concocting a way of bringing you back to life. I always called you my little Frankenstein, do you remember? Shredding the boundary between life and death was always your ultimate goal. Well, now with Project Seed entering its second phase, my plans can literally be put into practice. March 20th. The laboratories are off limits between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., so that's when I work. Naturally, I prepared all the calculations and machine settings in my quarters. I keep the subject under a false name in one of the pods. So far, not even Dr. Milan knows what I'm doing. Each major laboratory operation I perform takes more than an hour, and I always erase the machine records at the end of each one. I'm using your DNA, my darling. With the enhanced regenerative abilities of the genetic material we've already synthesized for Seed, you will be reborn, but you'll be impervious to physical degeneration, immune to sickness and pain. I'll have done what you would have wanted and made you perfect. And when you step healthy, unblemished, and reconstituted from your glass womb, you'll never leave me again. May 23rd. Things have felt strange lately. My work continues, but I swear, darling Francis, I can feel you watching me. I'm trying to work longer hours to complete the new and reborn you, but it's not easy. Marvin has already had a look at some of my work. I'm sure, as if he'd have any concept of what I'm trying to achieve anyway. July 30th. I still wonder, my darling, why you cursed at me as you died. I know it was an accident. I know you remember that. It wasn't murder. I've never committed a murder, not even when we tested the pathogens on those troublesome neighbors. It was an experiment. How are we to know they choked to death on their own innards? I suppose death was a possibility, but that's science. I fear for your continued life. I'm afraid Milan knows. Who else knows? Have they contaminated you? I'll run extra tests to make sure your code is not flawed or altered in any way. I'm anxious. I've started scratching my arms badly. At this point, I may end up looking like that leprous toad, Bachman. December 29th. Oh, my dearest Francis, I have failed you. Milan knows. He confronted me about it directly. He wants me to make you just like them. I cannot have you crawling around on all fours like some dog in the street. The very idea offends me. I'll protect you with my life. You'll be reborn. I swear this on my life. Yep, everyone involved in this is totally nuts. Oh, gotta grab the bone mending glue. Yeah, this is super creepy. Just strapped down creature, but then this sort of holographic overlay of its nervous system is just totally freaking out, and it just kind of creeps me out a bit. Strapped down creature. Creature squirms in its medical restraints. Great black eyes and a sunken gray face glare with malice. A few more PDAs here. Surgical laser, a new remotely operated surgical model and utterly lethal in the wrong hands. It could split steel just as easily as it does flesh. I'll then notice this as well. Glass wall. Observation wall stained top to bottom with an unpleasant array of sticky, dried substances. So down here with life support machinery. Pulse seems steady. Machine charts the heartbeat of the wretch strapped to the table. Anything else? So, monitors. Monitors are dark, only to be awakened when it's time for an operation. Here we have terminals, so it would require such intense monitoring from this highly technical rig. An array of computer screens hang above. A complex user rig is dormant and awaiting a trained medical technician. Coolant pipes. When this much data needs processing, overheating is common. These machines must use a nitrogen-based coolant to keep the computer systems running smoothly. Some storage drives, freestanding data hub made for pharmaceutical companies. These I thought was kind of funny with the old tape ones. Surprisingly antiquated considering the surroundings, but then appearances can be deceiving. Mainframe computer. Computer hums with activity, processing petabytes of essential body data. I'm so kind of surprised.
Don't go any further. I'm warning you now.
How could you do this?
I do with my children as I see fit.
It's barbaric.
Spare me the pity of the righteous. Your daughter owes her life to me.
What do you know about Rebecca?
ARG was killed on this ship, Mr. Marichek. Cancer, HIV, Ebola. I eliminated them all. Her life is mine to do it as I choose. Oh yes, I know about everything, Johnny Boy. I know about your daughter, and all about your wife. You are accountable.
Jammed his signal, John. You need to hurry. We're close.
So yeah, I wanted to double check something. So my daughter's name is Rebecca, then. And is that here? Yeah, host Ellen. So yeah, it was my wife who was the host. Not that that really makes it any better. Yeah, we have no idea how long I've been in cryostasis, so if she had been waking up a while ago, even though she was a little girl when I last saw her, you know, it could be decades since we actually went in cryogenic freeze, I don't know. So yeah, where's my daughter? If she's still a kid, especially. Dr. Milan, I've got January through February 2nd. Most stuff just goes through December when everything went to hell. January 1st. I'm trying to imitate his accent. It's kind of this weird mix of like Scottish and Australian, so I'm not even going to try. But the new year begins. The wheel turns and the Grimlake continues to lead the vanguard of scientific discovery for all of humankind. Yet I feel dissatisfied. Even as the peons who work under me celebrate the new year, I wonder why. Why would you celebrate such an asinine concept as an outdated Gregorian calendar on a ship that's currently swimming through the depths of space? The reason is clear. Comfort. They fear the unknown, the alien, the impossible. I do not. I embrace the unforgiving cosmos with open arms. The problem with the research we do is the humans doing it, constrained as they are by conscience, remorse, and sometimes even fear. We try to grasp the infinite and give it a framework that ill-fits its cosmic splendor. This is my 10th year as Special Projects Director for Kane Corporation. Despite my discoveries and quests for knowledge, I'm held back at every turn by paperwork, moralizing scientists, and that group of degenerate toadies that I sit on the board with. If I were rid of them, then my word would be God. My word. Not the word of a corporation. Still, they have their uses. The research is funded by Kane, and the Grimlake is kept running by the money and personnel they provide. But the time will come when all this changes. You mark my words. March 19th. I'm inundated with emails from all departments about inconsistencies with storage and contaminated samples. This grand masquerade is sometimes more tedious than it's actually worth. Worst of all was Dr. Way and that technician. Miss Callister, is it? I'd normally make short work of such troublemakers, but it hardly seems worthwhile. Troublemakers must be allowed to make trouble, because if they disappear, that legitimizes their claims, and somebody will always take up the fallen Crusader's torch. Dr. Bachman's tendencies are becoming harder to restrain. Well aware of his shortcomings, the old man is as brilliant as he is deranged, yet somehow manages to go about his work with sociopathic glee. He's useful to have around. He has requested more bodies for seed, specifically more women who are recently pregnant. This is problematic, as we have very few such women on board, and imports are not easy to come by. We may have to play this one under the radar. May 20th. That fool Dr. Gray complained yet again about his beloved insect becoming more aggressive as a result of the power outages. So what? Let them spill out onto the decks as far as I'm concerned. The importance of seed outranks the hydroponic project worth by 1,000 to 1. I do like playing chess with Dr. Gray, of course. I win every time, a little fact he's unlikely to tell everyone, although he does seem quite happy to contact anyone who's interested with the opinion that he'd be the next best candidate for my job. Sebastian, you could not handle what I do. If you believe otherwise, then you're as great a fool as I imagine you to be. And the day that I foresee comes, your rotting corpse will be under my feet, and I will laugh. July 4th. Dr. Williams is still under the impression that I don't know about her personal research. Officially, it's illegal for staff to conduct their own research, but this is interesting. Recreating her dead lover in the form of a hybrid, how fascinating. If it works, I'll make use of it. If it doesn't, then I'll burn it with the rest of the rejects. The woman is obsessed, and I know that DeSantos is playing no small part in feeding her delusions. I know her secret research won't cause me any problems, or I would never have allowed her on Project Seed. October 23rd. So it seems contaminated waste from the corpse disposal overspill is contaminating the ship. It's causing fungal growth, so my various drones tell me. The fungus is a riveting proposition, though. While I'm angry at Dr. Bachman for terminating more subjects than strictly necessary, these unintended side effects are fascinating. I intimated as much to Dr. Gray, and of course stoked his ego with hints at promotion and glory. He'll keep the fungus alive. The engineers want it destroyed, but I'm sure we can delay that. This experiment is becoming more engaging by the day, and I haven't even had to lift a finger. So while they clog up my inbox with demands and Rome burns, I plan to play the violin. We're more than secure here anyway, and this has a certain inevitability about it. I must record the daily developments of the experiment as the experiment grows. Talk correctly, speak correctly. November 30th. It is as I foresaw. Panic, destruction, and mayhem, and yet Seed continues apace. Once the fervor and the flame dies down, we'll sweep the decks of Detrius and repurpose all of it for my beautiful hybrid creations. No more growing plants for the good of mankind. God is no longer in the machine, my friends. I am God. December 25th. Getting crazier as we go. My beautiful children have excelled themselves. They kill, they learn, they adapt. A primal species without any of the trappings of morality. It's their time now. They almost came to be once, many years ago, but were snuffed out by humanity, afraid of its natural successors. The systematic extermination was given a name, the Eugenics Wars. The public knew it as a corporate warfare. In truth, it was a coordinated genocide. Humanity wasn't ready for Professor Garun's astonishing discovery and sought to destroy it. His work was not perfect, of course. That's where I came in. I spent most of my life as part of Kane, trying to access Professor Garun's original work. Old Man Kane pushed me to the top because we shared an ideal, the utilization of science for the perfection of humanity. Where we differed were the methods by which this was to be achieved. Not that he had much more to say after I held that pillow to his face as he lay in his hospital bed, all for a higher purpose. Creation of our species from raw subjects will become impossible now that the crew are dead, dying or unclean, but that's hardly an issue. Any subjects who are flawed or imperfect have been turned into the fertilizer that will nurture the perfection of the surviving race. Now the challenge is moving the Groom Lake out of range of any other ships. No one can be allowed to escape the ship alive. Any good, strong survivors will become members of the new race. I am their creator. I control. I transcend. Which might be why we saw that we're actually in the orbit of Neptune? I'm trying to remember, we saw a bunch of lightning and stuff earlier out the windows and ports. February 2nd. DeSantos, I'm so very disappointed in you. A distress signal? I thought you were of one mind in Seed. I'll castrate and destroy you for this betrayal. Your flawed body is hardly worthy of becoming one of my children, but for now I must turn off this accursed signal. You cannot hide from me, Marvin, you drug-peddling little fuck. I think I was going to say before, I was really surprised Milan wasn't here when I got into here, this area. I was expecting some kind of confrontation. Robert Lincoln, from July 3rd through December 17th. I've been reassigned to investigate the disappearance and murder of 2 scientists in the employ of Dr. Milan. Strange murder, to be sure. I've been observing the movements of some of these eggheads, and I can't say I'm too impressed. Doesn't anybody around here record their comings and goings, or make any notes? There is no traditional organization in this department whatsoever. Project Seed answers to nobody, this I know, but I thought these scientific types always made notes. Not that I care about admin, but I very much care about finding out who's selling weapons-grade secrets. Industrial secrets are a matter of life and death, especially death in this case. My investigation will be thorough, and no stone will be left unturned. The staff here is strange, and in fact I'd say lots of them are even crazy, but I couldn't care less about that. I just want names and answers. August 8th. I got this job because I get things done, not because of my warm and caring personality. At the moment, people are taking umbrage to my investigation, but security is a constant and essential part of shipboard life, especially when we're talking about industrial espionage. I'm not sure where the 2 missing scientists are, but it seems, based on the modified records I found, that they were killed and ejected into space. Any other man would assume that these 2 were the criminals, but I don't buy that. As far as suspects go, I've ruled out Charlotte Williams and Marvin DeSantos. Charlotte because she doesn't know where she is half the time, and DeSantos because he's just a smirking shit for brains. I'm confident that he's involved in drug dealing, and I will give him this. He's cautious and acts like he's a real ladies' man, but I know the truth. I've seen him rejected repeatedly at the bar. September 3rd. Since July, I've had to operate under the pretense that I'm an assistant. I'm lucky that in my career I had some emergency room assistants. The only other person who knows about my true purpose here is Dr. Milan. He's been encouraging. He constantly supplies me with information that I require for my investigation, and at times is a little over-helpful. Still, he seems honest enough. For the record, I'm well aware of the kind of man Dr. Milan is. I've seen his experiments with my own eyes. I've seen what happens when the bodies are disposed of in the burning fires of the furnaces, but he does what's required to justify the means. There are few men in this world who will do what has to be done. For that I admire him. He told me to watch over Dr. Williams' experiments. It seems they're unofficial, and although I prepared a report to Kane to have her removed from her position, Dr. Milan immediately overrode my request. I respect him, but to be honest, I don't like having my authority overruled. November 12th. Bachman, of all people, was sniffing around today. It seems the old psychopath suddenly became curious. I asked Dr. Milan for further instructions, and he told me to incapacitate the old man. This I did. Shame I had to break the old guy's kneecaps. Honestly, I was hoping to slit his throat, but Dr. Milan insisted that he remain alive. Alive and in pain, but unable to move. So this was when Bachman made the comment about waking up in the stairwell with his legs broken. I'm revising my earlier opinion of that DeSantos character. I still think he's a pathetic little shit, but I now believe he was partly responsible for some of the stolen information. He strikes me as an amateur put up to this by an outside agent. I'll deal with DeSantos soon, but first I've got to monitor his movements. Make one move, pal, and I'll have you. December 17th. Dr. Milan has earmarked me for one of his experiments. I know this because when I attempted to leave the ship to report to Kane Corporation, I discovered that my access was restricted and blocked. I came back to my quarters and found Milan waiting there. He was waiting with two of those hellish critters he's created. I'm not squeamish, but those things make me nauseous. I'm currently awaiting what he calls processing. I suppose at this stage I should make my peace with God. I've killed many men in my life. I'll never say that I feel remorse for it, and I won't give Dr. Milan the satisfaction of hearing me pray for mercy. My last notes on this affair are that Dr. Milan himself is at the heart of the events on board the ship. I was blind to it. I refused to believe that he was capable of creating such devastation. I always thought that scientists like control, but Milan breaks all the rules as far as science is concerned. The leaked information, the fungal growth, the missing scientists. I'm beginning to suspect he even knows that DeSantos was actually selling intelligence and may have fed him the information to sell. To what end, I don't know. I suspect it was because DeSantos kept Bachman drugged to the eyeballs with whatever powerful stimulants he happened to have so Bachman could continue his work. I can hear the machines being turned on. I welcome my fate. At least I know that I did my job for Kane Corporation. Kind of overly resigned to his fate at the point. So here we have some open power cell housings, 3 of them. Mechanical utility housing awaits a replacement power cell. So I need 3 power cells. So here I know what I need to do. It's sort of the why. So we have a live specimen, and I can activate the laser. What is the laser going to do? Probably kill it. What's the point? That's kind of my question. There doesn't seem to be real motivation to do that necessarily. So here I did this actually just trying out random things using the glue on the closed power cell housing, which seems like the exact opposite of what you would want to do if something is closed and locked. So essentially what we have then is a mold, power cell housing lock imprint, which we then combine with the twisted metal, and we have a power cell housing key.
In areas adjacent to this node.
So then I actually noticed before, afterwards, when I opened it, that these also were open. It's kind of dark, and I can't really adjust the brightness, so I didn't really notice this before. But just now noticed they were already open before. So got a power cell. All the power dies here. I only have space for a couple, so I'm going to take this one, have these poor women put out of their misery.
subject termination and/or equipment failure.
Go to sleep, my baby. Don't worry.
See, like that comment makes me think it was my daughter. Deceased woman, her chest no longer rises and falls with breath. She's been saved from her misery. And expired in her sleep, but if only the look on her face were more grateful. And so they confirmed that the notes were mentioning my wife specifically, but like that comment made me think, like, is it my daughter? Is this one, or one of these my daughters? But there's no identification. I'm kind of surprised taking the power cell also doesn't kill the bloated fetus and the other hybrid fetuses here. But inventory is full, so we'll have to throw the 2 in and then grab the last one.
From the origin. Please report to the
So we're powering up the laser here, which ties into something else that got me stuck on, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Not for too long, but a little bit. So now we need to get the last of the power cells. Yeah, I do really like the way this game kind of has the feel of everything, the look of everything. Visual design is very nice. Definitely enjoying my time with it. I think I'm almost done though. I'm kind of guessing my next stream will probably finish the game. I was actually debating about continuing when I was playing on Halloween, of continuing almost to where I got to on my last stream here. Since I'm cutting out me wandering around, backtracking, and trying to figure things out or looking for things I might have missed. So we're fully powered up, so basically it kind of seems like, yeah, I know I need to do this. I know I need to power up the laser and use it, but that doesn't seem to be kind of a story motivation for it. It just seems like it's a puzzle I need to solve, because it's a game and it's a puzzle, not necessarily because there's like a reason to move things, or I don't have anywhere I need to get to, or anywhere that's locked I need access to. that this is going to help me with. So actually the first time I did this, I kind of wondered if maybe I shouldn't have done this and looked for something else, but this is what I did, using the laser. Eviscerated creature. The smell of freshly spilled blood and guts fills the air. The creature has been cut raggedly in half. So what happened at this point was I thought a cutscene or something would happen, or Dr. Milan would show up, or some kind of confrontation would happen at this point. And I was confused, so I left and wandered around. And I'll show you part of what confused me. If I leave the room... So I went back to the elevator, looked around, all that kind of stuff. Nothing works because I took all the power cells, right? The elevator doesn't work. If you come back in here, now it's showing like there's no power. So, okay, the laser's used up already. So can I take one of these back out? No, won't let me. So I thought I might need to take one of these out and take it back to the elevator. No, I can't do that, can't take it out. Is there another one somewhere on the level that I missed? So then I looked around for a while looking for another power cell to activate the elevator. I'm figuring I need to use the elevator. Nope. Come back and use the laser some more. I don't really know why, necessarily. Why you would do that, think that, necessarily. I guess if you know you want to destroy all this stuff, sure. But then destroy the PDAs and stuff too. Destroy all the records. And lo and behold, we broke through, so we've opened a new area.
Warning. The environmental control and life support system has been compromised. Please report to the visitor center for further instructions.
So we got through here, but there's really nothing. We got shattered glass. Melted pieces of glass lie among the other splintered remains. Nowhere to go there. Could just go this way.
Abnormal neural activity detected.
So what we have here is a locked door, heavy-duty decontamination door. It says mask zone, warning signage. Sinister signs displayed along the walls, animal testing, gas mask zone. And then here, got a mask zone, animal testing signs. Got this, which I'm assuming will chop me into pieces if I try to go through it. I don't even seem to try to want to go through this stuff. Plastic tube. You can imagine people being farmed through here like cattle. It's not a pleasant picture. And I think this is where I left off. Did I go in here? I don't remember if I went in here. I'm not 100% sure. So it's toxic chemicals this way. I think this is where I ended it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this kind of catch-up video here. And then next stream we'll finish, but this is kind of mostly just for YouTube. Unfortunately, the old stream will be up. It just kind of basically is a radio show with the the menu up, with me going through everything, talking about everything, and going through the process of trying to find stuff, but you can't see anything, so it's kind of pointless. So anyway, that'll be about it. Let me save it before I do anything else, so nothing crazy happens. Looks like this is where I was when I saved it before. Is that where I am? That's where I am, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Well, we'll just save it and go from there. Basically, we're in the same place. Well, it does look like I might have gone through here. Let me take a look. Yeah, we came into here. Creepy room. So we'll take a look at this next time. But yeah, so that'll be it. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hopefully I'll have the next stream up soon. This is going to go up on YouTube eventually. And then we'll continue finishing the game. Not sure what we'll be doing next after that. Probably little one-offs of some different things, but we'll see. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Now I'm going to check and make sure this actually recorded correctly. And if it didn't, I'm going to, I don't know, a video, 30 seconds of me screaming or something. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much. I do appreciate it, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.